Welcome to a special segment of what we call it ASMR in cars. Hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, my name is Ron Z. Welcome back to another episode of Co-Star, and today we're taking a look at the 2019 Mazda CX-5. Let's roll the clip. Welcome back everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the cinematic video for the 2019 Mazda CX-5. Now today we're looking at the signature trim line, which starts and sits around about 42K Canadian in the Canadian market. Now the Mazda has always followed me throughout the years because all of my friends back in university used to drive Mazda 3, Mazda 2 hatchback, and they're still driving Mazdas to its day. So what makes Mazda so special? I feel like Mazda is so underrated, especially the way they handle, so agile with the power, torque all slapped together underneath the hood. Now this is the second generation of the Mazda CX-5. The first generation came out at around 2012 here in the Canadian market. Now the redesign happened at around 2017, so about 2 years into the second generation. And for anyone who is unfamiliar with the redesign, we're going to take a closer look at some of the key features and highlights that I really enjoy in this car. I mean, looking at the front, this car is very athletic, very sporty, especially with the big signature Mazda nose or grille right in the middle. I feel this resembles the Acura platform as well. If anyone who's familiar with the RDX, MDX, they have really big grilles in the front. Of course, look at how big the Mazda badge is in the middle. The radar sensors are right behind it, and the emblem, what they designed it is kind of like the owl wings. Kind of resemble it. Do you guys see it? I don't know. That's what they say, that and how they came up with the badge or the emblem. And what's interesting about the nose is that the piece follows right into the headlights in the front. Very cool, very unique as well. So they didn't really cut it in the middle. They extend it and fuse it together with the headlights. Now the headlights are LED daytime running lights and LED headlights with adaptive headlights for the signature trim line. What's unique about the headlights are the designs over here, front in the front and on the side. Kind of reminds me of a blade. Now, additionally, for the headlights, they didn't put the headlights on the bottom. If you're familiar with the Hyundai Santa Fe or the Jeep Cherokee, the daytime running lights on the top and the headlights here and the fog lights is on the bottom. Very complicated to look at, but they made this design very simple, and the headlights are a little bit squintier than the previous generation. Looking down below, you have your pair of fog lights, a little bit small for my taste, and continuing on the athleticism on the front bumper, you have different grooves and lines, grille lines across the front bumper. Very cool, very athletic. Moving at the profile of the vehicle, you can notice a lot more softer lines versus its competitors, right? I do notice with the recent trend, especially on the newer designs of other manufacturers, the lines on the doors into the rear passenger doors are a lot more defined and rigid, but the CX-5 is a lot more softer to look at. This car is slapped on with a set of 19-inch aluminum alloy wheels painted with a gum metal finish. I do feel like they should offer more options for wheel design, especially for the signature trim line, because why else would you buy a signature trim line, right? To differentiate yourself from the rest of the CX-5 on the road. Moving at the rear side of the vehicle, before we get there, the fuel cap is opened by the lever on the interior of the car. I kind of feel like that's not very convenient for the CX-5. I mean, even if you push and open it, that's more than enough, right? So that kind of technology design is a little bit old and should be upgraded. But if you feel like that's the way that you want it to go, nobody can steal your fuel or siphon the fuel out of your fuel tank, right? I don't know who else does that. Does people still do that, guys, nowadays? Moving at the rear side of the vehicle, the first thing you can notice, the design is a little bit more simple. Not too many sharp lines as some of the other competitors on the market, but I do like the taillight a lot because they offer different kind of grooves and patterns. Very cool, very athletic and sporty. Opening the trunk, it is a power liftgate. Unfortunately, again, let me know what you guys prefer. I kind of like it when manufacturers have the kick function, or maybe I'm just so used to it, right? For the CX-5, even at the signature trim line, they don't have that option, just power trunk. I know some people even prefer manual trunk, right? So different preferences for different people, but I do wish the signature should have the optional hands-free power liftgate, especially at this price, right? Looking at the trunk, I mean, it's kind of actually smaller than its competitive market, but I do like that there's different levers over here to fold the seats. Really special about the levers on the left-hand side is that this will allow you to fold the seat 40, 20, 40. The other manufacturers usually like to do it 40, 60. Tapping the middle button over here, and bam, the center fold, so you can put your golf clubs in there, whatever. So you don't have to go into the second row and fold the middle seats, right? Different variation, very clever, and I like that a lot. And I'm gonna close that here. Finishing off the rear bumper, you have your spoiler on top and a pair of chrome exhaust tip for the added athleticism and sportiness of the CX-5. Sitting in the 2019 CX-5, the first thing you notice in the signature trim line is the Nappa leather. So soft, so nice on your skin, especially on long drives. You'll make your driving experience just that much more comfortable. Of course, looking up ahead, the steering wheel is wrapped in leather as well, with the heated steering wheel function. Very key feature, especially if you live in Canada. I mean, for my own car, I use that function every single day. Looking up ahead on your dash, I mean, for a lot of the other competitors in the market, everything is flat and smooth with the LED screen, right? For me, for the Mazda CX-5, there are some designs and half circles here and there that pokes out a little bit for the speedometer and the tachometer. I like that a lot because it gives you variations just in case you don't like the flat screen, or just in case you don't like having the half circles here and there. There's more options for you to choose from, depending on your preference, right? Looking at my left-hand side, you have your power options, power window, power lock. But what's really cool about all of these controls is the material feels very luxurious, and all the panels here are all soft touch. I feel the interior of the Mazda 5 has done a tremendous job, and I cannot believe that this wood panel over here is real, genuine wood. I mean, there's so much value packed inside. Look at this! Bose audio system, very cool. And the circle, or the design itself, very modern and very different. I mean, I do have Bose audio system in my car on my 370, but not the way that they did it in a more elegant fashion in the CX-5. Moving at my right hand side, you have your transmission gear selector done in a stick shift manner. I like it a lot. I'm very traditional, and for me, that's my personal preference. To my left hand side, there's kind of different mode. One is the sport, and one is just regular. I do wish that, you know, pairing the sport mode, there should be a paddle shifter over here, especially this car just kicks, which we'll experience in just a moment. Below it, you have your infotainment button over here that controls everything that goes on into the screen as well. I mean, this is still touchscreen. You can also control it with the tip of your hand on your right hand side. One interesting thing is that they did put the volume button right here, right beside the infotainment buttons. We all know, you know, traditional cars, you reach out forward and you scroll the volume button, but to me, this actually adds convenience to your day-to-day drive whenever you want to turn up and turn down the volume, and kind of a safety feature design that you don't have to reach forward. All you have to do is rest your hand on the armrest over here, and you can control your volume button like that. To me, small things like that adds convenience in my day-to-day driving. And beside it, you have your electronic parking, and my absolute favorite, the auto hold function, which I grew to love in cars, especially the newer technology, right? Of course, the auto hold function can only activate it whenever you put your seatbelt on. And here's something that I did notice about the seatbelt. It's so easy for it to grab, and the material feels very soft. It doesn't strangle you when you put it on, right? This kind of seatbelt experience makes me feel like I'm sitting in a Porsche. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but I actually like this quite a lot. Looking at the center infotainment system console, for anyone who is not quite familiar with the Mazda platform, they like to divide the screen with the climate control on the bottom. I mean, for the signature trim line, it comes with heated seats, ventilated seats, dual zone climate control. But like I said, guys, the buttons feels very luxurious, especially the climate scroll over here. I feel like this is kind of like aluminum material. I may be wrong. If you know what material this is, let me know in the comment section below. Looking up ahead, here are your 2 air vents, very uniquely designed, and the material makes me feel again that luxurious touch inside the CX-5. Up ahead, we have this 7-inch infotainment system screen. I feel the hardware is a little bit small and cheap, especially when I hit the navigation button. It is just a compass. I feel like for the signature trim line, this should definitely be a standard option to be equipped with your CX-5. Rest of it, I mean, the design is very simple, very elegant, but there isn't too much going on. Of course, this car is paired with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but what I don't like is that the USB port connecting to the Apple CarPlay is in the center armrest over here, right underneath it, inside the box here. So once you connect, Mazda don't want you to see your phone, so you don't tamper with it, don't play with it whenever you're driving, so only you focus on the road, and that's your primary task, and everything here can be controlled with the buttons on your right hand side, and you cannot use the touchscreen once the vehicle is in motion. One disappointing feature on the CX-5 that I grew to love in technologies, especially in 2018-2019 vehicles, is the wireless charging pad. This car does not come with wireless charging. I feel like even if it doesn't come with it, make it an option, guys. Make it an option that people like me can add it in if I really want it, right? But what's good about the passenger seat versus the competitor is that it is power controlled, I think 4 ways or 8 ways, but versus the Tiguan or the RAV4, which is manual seat, kind of feels cheap, right? But the buttons on the power seat kind of have the aluminum finish, very luxurious and very, very sophisticated. As you can see, guys, on the second row, the CX-5 is a little bit shorter than its competitors on the market. I mean, the front seat is adjusted to the way I like to drive, and my knees are already hitting the front driver's seat, right? But the Nappa leather just feels so comfortable on my skin, and the real genuine wood extends all the way back to the door panels here on the rear passenger doors as well for the additional luxurious feel for the Mazda CX-5. Now, with its competitors such as the Tiguan and the Highlander, which offers the third row option, you know, that's why we don't have as much leg space in the rear, right? I think by having the third row seating option, it completes a family with, you know, your spouse, your parents sitting in the rear, and your kids sitting in the back, right? I do wish the CX-5 will have the option available in the future for anyone who's not ready for a van or not quite financially ready for a full-size SUV. Since we're looking at the signature trim line, there should be rear heated seats, no? So I asked Yu-Chen, like, I'm pretty sure this car comes with rear heated seats, and it took us quite a bit to figure out exactly where it is. You wanna know where it is, guys? Right here. As soon as you pull down the panel over here, the rear heated seats buttons are all here, and with 2 available USB charging ports over here. This kind of design follows the 7 Series in the BMW or luxurious cars, where the middle part over here have additional controls, right? But if you don't know, or if your sales guy didn't really explain to you about your features on your CX-5, you may be driving all these years in your CX-5 without knowing you have rear heated seats. So I made a very quick stop at Shell gas station. We're gonna put in 93 premium gasoline, or 91, they only have 91, and see if we do feel a power difference in the motor and in the acceleration, right? So we don't know, but we'll see. Unfortunately, this is as much as we can put in the gas, as we are working on our own budget, and I hope we can get more subscribers so we can, you know, fill up the tank next time, guys. So yeah, 20 bucks, we'll see what we can do. Wow, this car packs a punch to the throttle whenever you put your foot down. So what do we have here, guys? We have a 2.5 liter turbochargers and give you 227 horsepower at 87 fuel and 250 horsepower at 93 premium gasoline with 310 pound-feet of torque. Best torque in its class. I mean, for one, I am very impressed with the heads-up display because all of my safety features are right there in front of me, so I don't have to look down on my dash to know what is engaged, right? I mean, for one, the radar or the adaptive cruise control level is right ahead of me, and number 2, my lane keep assist is right ahead of me. I kind of like this orientation because it makes me focused on my driving. I mean, wow, I am still so impressed with the Nappa leather, making my overall driving experience just that much more comfortable, and I just couldn't get over this 310 pound-feet of torque, so much activities, and the steering wheel responds so quickly, so precise wherever you want to go. Makes me kind of forget that I'm in an SUV for just a moment, and makes me forget that this car sits at just $41,000. I mean, 310 pound-feet of torque, punching 0 to 60 very quickly, very effortlessly, that you can compete. You can't really compete. Nobody can compete with you. You have the best torque in this class, right? And the handling is so agile for a SUV, right? But what makes this car so amazing that produces this kind of torque? It's Sky Active G technology inside the motor. Very clever. I mean, for anyone who's kind of unfamiliar with its platform, the best way for fuel efficiency, torque, and performance is by having a high compression ratio inside the cylinders. And Mazda has done a clever way of having such a high compression ratio without having the possibility of engine knocking. I mean, that's one of the things that people kind of stay away from by having high compression ratio cylinders or high compression ratio motors, just because it's not very unreliable, whatever. Mazda said, hold my beer, let me try this, I got this, guys. So what they did is that they drive the exhaust gas back into the cylinder so the temperature won't allow for early detonation inside the cylinders. Very clever, guys. And I think that everyone should give credits to Mazda for delivering this kind of technology that you do have efficiency, fun, power, and a lot of exhilaration for your day-to-day commute. I mean, I still can't get over this car packs 310 pound-feet of torque. And this car actually kicks a little bit harder than my 370Z. I don't want to admit it, but it's kind of true, and it's available right away when you put your foot down onto the throttle. I mean, you can drive this car as well, and he felt the exact same way, right? So delivering almost next to no leg doesn't make you feel like you have a turbo, and you have all the power right away. Oh, so impressive. I kind of like how when I made the turn just now, there isn't too much body roll. Even though the seat isn't a sporty seat, it doesn't hug you like how the Tiguan hugs you with the R-Line seats, but still feels very comfortable, very enjoyable. And the transmission in this vehicle is a 6-speed automatic transmission, same as the previous generation, not too much change. I mean, nowadays everybody's offering 8-speed automatic transmission for the additional fuel saving, but what they did with the Sky Active technology engine there, it's already tremendous enough and puts everyone else's engine kind of into shame, right? I do wish in the future maybe they should have an 8-speed automatic transmission for even more fuel efficiency, you know, in mind. I mean, for Mazda, they're actually the best fuel efficiency brand, period. I'm gonna make that claim, and you can search it up online if you want, but they're actually, again, the best fuel efficient vehicle on the market, whether it be the CX-5, the Mazda 3, whatever, right? I think, and I do encourage everyone to do a little bit more information on the Sky Active technology, which opened up my mind even more, right? And I don't know, guys, I don't know why Mazda is so underrated. I know we had the huge paint rust back in the 2010s, but we've moved on. It's been almost 10 years since then, and I really wish everyone would give Mazda another chance, go into local dealership, experience it, and realize, wow, what a change that Mazda has been, and what an improvement on all aspects of this vehicle, right? And I do feel like the Mazda is a driver's car with the agile handling. Suspension feels very nice and comfortable on the road, you know, especially if you drive this car on the 401. I know Yuchen always says I say that about every single vehicle, but it's true. It's an SUV, right? It's comfortable on the 401 with the suspension offer kind of, again, more agile handling. Really makes you forget that you're in an SUV and more in a sport utility SUV like XM or SQ or even AMG. I know that's far stretched, but for 41K, or at least gave me that kind of feeling. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the review and the cinematic we did for the 2019 Mazda CX-5 Signature Edition. I want to give a quick thank you to Mazda of Richmond Hill for letting us experience this wonderful vehicle, and I want to leave you guys with this question. Given the choice between 87 and 93 gasoline, which one would you put into your engine? My name is Ranzit, and I will see you on a brand new episode of Cold Start next Saturday.